We all agree that Necramechs are really cool, especially if it's your first time seeing or using one. And now you want to go craft one, but when you go there, you find that a Necramech is really hard to craft and it's going to take a lot of your time and a lot of effort to craft. So is it really worth the grind and effort that you're going to put in the game in order to get a Necramech? A Necramech is really useful in my opinion, and I'll be sharing with you what you can use it for and if it's fun to use or not. For me, having fun when playing Warframe is a really important aspect. And in my opinion, having a Necramech and using it is part of the fun. It's just fun blasting enemies with your weapon and being able to tank some decent damage. And I'm pretty sure a lot of players enjoy weapons that explode enemies in Warframe, and a Necramech is no stranger to that. There is no doubt that you will enjoy exploding every single enemy and seeing big damage pop up on your screen. There are two different Necramechs in Warframe, and both of them have unique abilities and they are both fun to use. And the two Necramechs are Voidrig and Bone Widow. For example here, Voidrig has 4 abilities in total. Of course, aside from your main weapons. And I'll be showing you the 4 abilities and you can judge for yourself. And of course, in case you missed the abilities that I showed you on screen, I'll be going through every single one of them. And I'll be talking about the abilities of Voidrig because that's what I have. First ability that we have is Necroweb, where basically you throw a canister that hits a radius, causes an explosion, and slows enemies in that radius. Storm Shroud, which is a pretty cool ability in my opinion. It gives you invincibility, and it also electrifies enemies around you, or I think enemies that hit you. Grave Mines, which is an ability that allows you to throw small mines in the air that explode on impact. Guard Mode, which is the ultimate ability here. You take a stationary stance and it allows you to get huge grenade guns that shoot exploding bullets, and on impact it does huge damage. For example, you might have seen in the clip I just showed you when I was showcasing the abilities, you'd have seen that I did like 500k damage. Sometimes in some mission there are some bullets that did 1.4 million damage, so yeah, it's a pretty cool ability. If you haven't built a Necramech yet, I would strongly suggest you start working on building one right away. Keep in mind, the more you progress through the game, the less use you will have for a Necramech. Plus at some point you will need a Necramech for the storyline missions anyway, so might as well get going and start building it now. Having a Necramech for the open world missions and just roaming around in general is pretty useful and it helps a ton. You can go around blasting a lot of things including enemies, ships, thumpers and many more. For example, enemies here, I could just like come up to them and shoot them and just blast the hell out of them. And aside from just having fun from exploding things, a Necramech could also make your life easier when it comes to any open world in the game. As there are 3, like Plains of Eidolon, Orbalis and Campion Drift, it makes it a lot easier when it comes to harder level enemies and you need to tank some damage, for example. And also keep in mind that you can do a lot of damage, like 600k, 400k. It's a lot of damage with the 4th ability. You could also use your Necramech in Railjack. I know, not a lot of players like Railjack, and my opinion is that Railjack is actually really fun. Maybe you just didn't get to experience it right, or you didn't understand it fully. But whatever your reason is, did you know that you can actually deploy your Necramech in all Railjack missions? Yes sir, you can always deploy your Necramech in any Railjack mission, and that would allow you to have even more fun and dominate the enemy. And aside from boarding a ship and using your Necramech there in Railjack, did you know that you could even respawn your Necramech on your own ship? Pretty cool, eh? I know, some people might say, but no, you do know that you can't use Necramech in normal star chart missions, right? And to that I say yeah, it's true for now, but keep in mind that the developers did mention before that it's coming to all missions, but it just needs some more time in the oven. So in my opinion, building a Necramech now and having fun with it with the current content that we have is better than nothing. And it's also a nice to have because it's gonna help you a lot in open world missions and on Railjack. But also keep in mind that once you have a Necramech, you keep it forever. So once they give you the ability to deploy it in normal missions on the star chart, you will already have a Necramech, you don't need to farm it again. So you can jump right into the action. And yes, I do acknowledge and know that the Necramechs might not be the most polished thing in Warframe. But for my fellow Tenno that want the Necramech for the sake of completing their arsenal or just for the sake of having it and flexing on their friends, you will definitely need one. So don't forget, if you find this video useful, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more Warframe content, subscribe.